Today, Mr. Macron was visiting restaurant owners in the southeast part of France.
What's going on, people? I'm still here. Black Pill Red here, and have been here in a while, and I have to apologize for that. I'll tell you, I will say this: it's not the back pain that's keeping me from doing this show. It's the lack of sleep that's doing it. I struggle to sleep. I sleep probably 1-2 hours a night when it kicks in, but lately it's been pretty good. And another one of my, I guess I can say, negative problems is the fact that when I start researching, I dig and I continue to dig. And the next thing I know, 2 and 3 days pass before I actually put anything out. So please forgive me on that. But anyway, just had to chat, have some things. I have several shows lined up. Man, you ought to see how many folders I have lined up on my screen. I don't even think it'll show it. Let's see if it'll show it. That's my primary screen, and this is something I'm recording here. But what you see back here is these folders here. I'd say probably 4 or 5 of them are personal folders, but all the rest of them are a lot of them are show ideas. But anyway. I digress. How'd y'all like that slap at the very beginning? Mr. Macron in France. Okay, he goes to meet the people, and he got woke for real. Yeah, he was woke for real. Hey, well, I'm gonna go ahead and play the rest of it. Check it out.
Earlier today, Mr. Macron was visiting restaurant owners in the southeast part of France as COVID restrictions are being eased in the country. You can see here clearly on video the moment the incident happened as he greeted crowds, and how quickly, take a look at this, how quickly, that's the slap, afterwards the security detail really reacted. Melissa Bell joined.
All right, now, I titled this show, "If I'm Living Rent-Free in Your Head, You May As Well Give Me 2 Bedrooms." All right. Now, if you know what I mean by that, that means you're thinking about me. If you just can't stop thinking about me because you hate me that much, you may as well give me more space. All right. Now, this is about the former administration. Now, they just can't get out of their own way when it comes to the last administration. Now, personally, I think everything is done, and everything right now is optics. And if you are like me and you follow that 17th letter, you know what's going on right now. And matter of fact, if I remember to show you something at the very end, I'm gonna go ahead and throw today's drop on there. And matter of fact, yesterday's was really good because I started recording this yesterday. I started putting the screens up, and what you saw on the screen there was me prepping the recording because I'm going to, I'm just going to put my part in there and splice it up. But anyway, the drops have been really, really, really good. I've already made some connections. All right, especially with like the meat. I think I posted that before. I showed you that in the last video, and how Fauci was probably the 11-4 confirmation. Not sure. I'm just saying. Like I said, I could be 100% wrong, but a lot of us are all wrong when it comes to that. But that could be it. But right here, it shows that 51 years Biden has been in office. Chuck Schumer has been in office for 45 years. Nancy has been in the office for 33 years, which is a cabal number. Patrick Leahy has been in office for 54 years. Maxine Waters, 47 years. Dianne Feinstein, she's been in for 60 years. Wow. This is crazy. And the thing about it is, out of all of that time, I mean, we can do the math on that. Out of all those years, racism wasn't a problem. And then the moment they start setting up the Chinese people that were actually getting Asian. I'm going to say Asian people were being assaulted. They changed the law and they created a law for them, but they didn't create one to help, to alleviate some of the problems dealing in the brown skin American community. Anyway, there's a letter to the newspaper, the Los Angeles Times, that says that if you blame Trump for everything, you have Trump derangement syndrome. Now, you ask yourself, what is Trump derangement syndrome? Well, Trump derangement syndrome is a term usually for criticism or negative reaction to former United States president that are that are perceived to be irrational. Basically, if you can't stop thinking about Trump, you're always blaming him, then you're within the syndrome. Okay, you're within the syndrome. Even Bill Maher, he even said it. He said, now that Trump's gone, we can't blame him for everything. Now, one thing about Bill Maher, which, like I said, I can't really get with Bill Maher. I mean, he's a good. I love his shows. His shows are actually funny, but at the same time, he's far left. But on his show, he straddles the fence, and he does that because he pulls in both sides of the audience, which is smart to me. But at the same time, I can't get with him because of his production. His production company's named Kid Love. Now, if anybody have kept up with him, he has this one little thing on that you can see on the internet. It says the worst they said about Michael Jackson did was a little grabby under the covers. If I can go back and trade that experience and being beat up at 12 for being gently masturbated by a pop star, I would do it in a New York second. Now, he could have been saying that to be funny. No, he wasn't saying that to be funny. Because the Red Shoe Club. Yeah, he's a proud owner of some of those red leather shoes. And that's Wiener, if I'm correct. That's in there with him. But other than that, they just can't get away from Trump. Let me get back to him, the former administration, the TDS syndrome. But check this out. This happened during the riots when the former administration walked down to Lafayette Plaza. Check this out.
What happened last night, if you're just waking up, this is how the scene played out at the White House yesterday. Hundreds of protesters had been gathered peacefully in Lafayette Park just outside the White House, chanting and holding signs. Around 6:10 p.m. Eastern Time, Attorney General William Barr was spotted walking through the park, surveying the scene with a security detail. Then at 6:15, the president tweeted he would be making brief remarks in the Rose Garden on the federal response to the nationwide protests. 20 minutes later, around 6:35, police fired flashbang shells and mounted officers began to push protesters back in the park.
Okay, now I'm going to show you the video of him walking down there. Now, if you don't know by now, because this happened last year, 2020. If you don't know by now, they lied. They lied about that. But I'm going to show you how in these next two videos. They were talking, irrationally about the former administration and the fact that they figured he was going out there to do a photo op, which, yeah, true enough, he did. Which I got the message from the photo op. The photo op was just basically a photo op. It's just to let you know that I'm the leader of the free world, and I'm not afraid to walk down the middle of the street. Now, don't get me wrong, he had all kinds of security, but that could have went just 100 degrees south real quick. But Miss Pelosi couldn't get out of her own way. So what she does is she has her own photo op reading the Bible. So that he had one just showing the Bible, he's letting you know this is what's important. This church and this Bible. This is what we forgot. This is what's important. But your girl, she couldn't help but, do it herself. She had to get a photo op. And now the rest of the story. They were actually putting up a fence around a certain location, and they needed to disperse the crowd. And especially because that and a curfew was in effect. So this happened 2 hours before Trump even decided to walk out. It had nothing to do with the plans, because the park police had no idea that Trump was going to walk down the street and go to the church. No one knew. He just did it off cuff.
The Inspector General has just released a report about the controversial clearing of Washington, D.C.'s Lafayette Square Park just last summer. Now, you may recall when that happened back on June 1st of last year. And after the park was cleared, President Trump then held a photo op where he was seen holding a Bible. If you remember the footage you're seeing right there on your screen. NBC News national security correspondent Ken Delaney joins us now. Ken, what exactly does this report tell us?
Morgan, this is a pretty shocking finding by the independent inspector general of the Interior Department. It really turns on its head what we thought we knew about what happened here, which is it finds essentially that the decision by the park police to clear that park of protesters had nothing whatsoever to do with Donald Trump's desire to have a photo op or to walk through that park. And that, in fact, it was made hours before that they wanted to install some anti-scale fencing because they were concerned that the protests were growing ever more violent, that they made that decision independent of the White House or of Attorney General William Barr. Now, it does find that after they started clearing the park, Barr walked down there and spoke to the commander of the park police and said, hey, the president is coming down. And that was the first time that commander knew that Trump was going to make an appearance. And according to this report, his response was, are you freaking kidding me?
And then, of course, Miss Circleback, she just can't stop. I think she has a crush on the former president, to be honest with you. Yeah, I believe she has a crush on him or something because she can't get him out of her head. Anyway, yeah, check her out.
As we look at it, we learned a lot from President Trump, the former president, over the last couple of years about his behavior and how he uses these platforms. It feels pretty unlikely that the zebra is going to change his stripes over the next 2 years.
And now, Miss AOC, another outrageous comment. She said that because of Trump, her abuela, which is her grandmother, fell ill, and she went to Puerto Rico to see her. This is during Hurricane Maria. And this is 4 years later. Now, Hurricane Maria happened in September of 2017. And she says she didn't get any, they didn't get any relief or relief dollars or anything like that. Wonder what happened to all the relief.
With a crowbar, they cranked open the warehouse. Then applause raining down from an infuriated crowd. Tonight, thousands of Puerto Ricans suffering from the aftermath of powerful earthquakes just discovered there's an entire warehouse full of items donated following the wrath of Hurricane Maria. The cache of goods located just miles from the epicenter of the latest quake on Puerto Rico's southwest coast has been sitting there for nearly a year.
Meeting.
Diapers, baby food, sanitary wipes, bottles, and pacifiers.
Meeting.
Outside the complex, a desperate crowd cannot understand how all this help could be right in their backyard the whole time.
It's like,
you guessed it, they lied. The supplies that was there for Maria, that was during Trump's first year. It was being held back from him in order to make him look bad. But I digress. We'll get into that another day. But check out this other little great deed that someone did for Miss AOC's abuela.
We said a minute ago this was the greatest story of the week, and it's only Monday. We may have undersold it. It's only, June 7th. We can say this is probably the best story of the month of June 2021. Here's how it begins. A couple days ago, Sandy Cortez of Westchester complained online that her grandmother in Puerto Rico lives in poverty because of Big Orange. She put up a picture of her grandmother's house. This is her home, she wrote. Trump blocked relief money for Puerto Rico. Well, Matt Walsh, who's often on this show, felt a twinge of empathy. So he set up a fundraiser, a GoFundMe for Sandy Cortez's grandmother, but neither one of them wanted the money. Matt Walsh is the compassionate host of the Matt Walsh Show and joins us tonight with an update to this poignant tale of aid refused. Matt Walsh, first of all, thank you for doing what Sandy Cortez herself didn't do, which is try to help her abuela, her grandmother. What happened here?
Yeah, and thank you for giving me a chance to talk about my philanthropy, which has been a big passion of mine since last week. But listen, she claimed that her mother's been living or her grandmother rather has been living in this dilapidated shack, I guess, for 4 years since the hurricane. And she's a wealthy single woman who has 2 apartments and a Tesla that she just recently bought, apparently. She, for whatever reason, refused to help her own grandmother. And so we said, all right, you know what, we'll get together and we'll raise the money. We raised $100,000 in 10 hours.
She got exposed. The family turned the money down. She said, no, we don't need it. We don't need the money now. Okay? Well, like I said, I knew this was going to be a fairly short video, so please bear with me. This is it right here. Let me show you something. These are Trump's accomplishments. Now, a lot of people think that he didn't do anything for the country. Well, I beg to differ. Now, I sped this up because it's actually 138 pages of accomplishments. Okay, not to mention that what he signed for the historical black colleges. He signed this executive order right here that ensures that these colleges, these historical black colleges, are taken care of for the next 10 years instead of coming back every year. Now, you know, Barack Obama, he canceled the money for the historical black colleges. He cut the budget $85 million. Now, Trump came out and said, yes, we saved the black colleges. And if you look that up, and he was saying he saved black colleges, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people out there challenging him, saying that, oh, no, you didn't save the black colleges. You didn't save the black colleges. Here he thinks he saved the black. No, he did save black colleges. He did. Because these colleges were about to go bankrupt. I mean, outside of some colleges with, you know, some financial problems, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that because it's always our school that have the financial problems. Anyway, here's an article right here that I found who talks about, you know, what Donald Trump has done. It says in the highlighted areas, you can go back and read it if you want. But it says, since Donald Trump's inauguration, the U.S. economy has created a whopping let's just say a million new jobs for African Americans, including many right here in Ohio. Today, the national black unemployment rate is at its all-time low of 5.5%. Unemployment for black women is even lower at 4.4%. More importantly, the overall black to white employment gap is smaller than it's ever been. It is great to see so many black American men and women in the workforce, more than ever before. In addition, the president created Opportunity Zones initiative is spurring more of economic growth in the underdeveloped communities around the country. Though targeted tax incentive, the initiative is projected to generate approximately $100 billion in new private investments in communities. And that's what it really is, that's most needed. But then also, he also has the First Step Act. The First Step Act also includes significant reforms to address recidivism, which, such as helping prisons improve their rehabilitation program and allow nonviolent inmates to earn early release credits for good behavior more easily. Thanks to this legislation, the nonviolent inmates will now be equipped with professional and social skills they need to become a productive member of society following their release. Trump also understood that the foundation of economics. Success is quality education. That's why he signed $360 million grant for the historical black colleges and universities last year. By far, the most that any president has ever done for HBCU. Even America's first black president, Barack Obama, never allocated that much money for HBCU. No, he cut it. He cut the money for them. So, yeah, he didn't do anything for them. Another one of his accomplishments is this, the Abraham Accords. Now, the one thing about the Abraham Accords is he was beneficial in the signing UAE agreement and the Bahrain and Israel agreement. And actually, there was another agreement with this one. They signed a fourth one. No, here's the third. It was a fourth one. Let's see, the the Abraham Accord Declaration, I'm sorry. And then, he signed all of these. And because of that, because he did that, he received 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Nobel Peace Prize nominations. Now, I know it says 3 on that screen right beneath, on the monitor where he is, but the title is 4. It's actually 4. And then you can pause it, and I highlighted all of the Nobel Peace Prizes that he got, the nominations. I know, like I said, even though he didn't, like I said, he has yet to, win it, or they hadn't announced it yet. Just having a nomination for that, getting recognized for doing something good, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, Barry Soetoro, Barry Hussein, he got one for just being brown skinned, and everyone knows he's nowhere close to being. Yeah. Anyway, okay, lest we not forget the Platinum Plan. It's by achieving historic employment levels for Black America, we also, for Black Americans, as well as increasing access to capital for new businesses, President Donald Trump has been committed to ensuring all Black Americans can achieve American dream. So it's opportunity, security, prosperity, and fairness in this plan. You can take a screenshot of this, or you look it up yourself. Look it up yourself. It's done. It's there all on the internet. Just look up the Platinum Plan, and it's there for us, indigenous or brown skinned Americans. All right. You guys like, share, subscribe. I miss you guys. I'm glad to be back. And I got 3 more videos I'm finna drop. So you'll probably see the same shirt. And then the next one, I'll change the shirt just to make it look different. Anyway, just go ahead, like, subscribe, share. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.